Contextualized and localized instructional materials. Contextualization and localization of the lessons may be employed by educators to enhance the academic performance of learners. They may embrace and commit their time to be creative, forward-looking, and adept in using available resources within the community, construct real-life experiences of learners to connect concepts to issues that are relevant, so that the needed skills and competencies will be developed among learners and become adept in their chosen careers as prescribed by the K-12 programs. Educators may integrate contextualization and localization of learning materials in other fields of discipline because it shows positive effects in the performance of the learners, and has been proven effective as a strategy for imparting lifelong learning outcomes among learners. Legal basis of contextualized and localized instructional materials. Based on the 1987 Philippine Constitution, Article 14, Section 5 and 14, state shall 1. Take into account regional and sectoral needs. 2. Encourage local planning. 3. Foster the preservation, enrichment and dynamic evolution of a Filipino national culture. Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013, RA 10533, DepEd shall adhere to the following standards and principles. 1. Contextualized/global curriculum shall be contextualized. 2. Curriculum shall be flexible for localization, indigenization, and enhancement. DepEd mission: to protect and promote the right of every Filipino to quality, equitable, culture-based and complete basic education where 1. Student learn in a child-friendly, gender-sensitive, safe and motivating environment. DepEd Order No. 21, Series of 2019, Policy Guidelines of the K-12 Basic Education Curriculum. Some features of the K-12 curriculum: 1. Learner-centered. 2. Research-based standards. 3. Competence-based. 4. Seamless. 5. Decongested, culture-responsive and sensitive. 6. Integrative and contextualized. What is contextualization? Refers to the educational process of relating the curriculum to a particular setting, situation, or area of application to make the competencies relevant, meaningful, and useful to all learners. DepEd Order No. 32, Series of 2015. Degrees of contextualization. Localization. It is a process of relating learning content specified in the curriculum to local information and materials in the learner's community. Indigenization. It is a process of enhancing the curriculum competencies, education resources, and teaching learning processes in relation to the biogeographical, historical, and socio-cultural context of learner's community. It may involve enhancement of curriculum framework, design and standards of subject areas. Contextualization process of learning resources. First is to establish dialogue and community engagement. Second is situation analysis. Third, education planning with communities. And fourth, research for contextualization and learning resources development. The Center for Educational Research and Development, 1999, explained that curricula and instruction based on contextual learning strategies should be structured to encourage 5 essential engagement strategies. It is named as the REACT. Relating, learning in the context of life experience, everyday sites, events, and conditions. It is linking the concept to be learned with something the student already knows. Experiencing, learning in the context of exploration, discovery, and invention. It is the heart of contextual learning. It includes hands-on activities and teacher explanations that allow students to discover new knowledge. Applying, Learning by using new concepts and information in a useful context allows learners to envision future success in careers and post-secondary education. It is where students apply their knowledge to real-world situations. Cooperating. Learning in the context of sharing, responding, and communicating with others is a primary instructional strategy in contextual teaching. Students solve problems as a team to reinforce knowledge and develop collaborative skills. Transferring. Learning in the context of existing knowledge, or transferring, uses and builds upon what the learner already knows. Learning to transfer familiar information to new contexts helps learners approach unfamiliar situations and problems with confidence. What can we do to implement contextual learning? We can create learning environments that support contextual learning through classroom, laboratory, computer laboratory, or even at worksite. And students discover meaningful relationships between abstract ideas and practical applications in the context of the real world. Contextualized learning resources. These learning resources are presently classified as A text-based and B, non-text-based learning tools and equipment, or LTE. We need to remember that localization contents local information or local materials. On the other hand, indigenization is a bit broader. It may entail curriculum enhancement. Also, one of this element must be present: biogeographical, historical, and sociocultural. Examples of localization and indigenization. Competency. Visualize the ration of two given numbers, Math Grade 5. Localization. Usually observe examples of ratio in the community. Examples: 1 Jeep, 4 wheels, 1 carry ton, 2 wheels, 1 tricycle, and 3 wheels, depending on what is the most common in the community. Indigenization. Community activities or cultural practices that inherently use the concept ratio. Example: bringing product to the market entails using a carabao carrying sacks. 1 carabao is to X sacks. Other examples of localization and indigenization. For Erling Panlapunen, reading/dramatizing the life of local heroes, discussing local environmental problems, staging a debate on local issues, historical events. For Science and Mathematics, research on production outputs of local industries, learning about indigenous ways of measurement, and learning from local artisans/farmers about their own methods of production which use folk mathematics or traditional folk practices. Examples used in the lesson start with those localities. Names, situations, setting needed to give context to test questions or problem-solving exercises are those of the immediate community. Local materials are used as often as possible in making instructional materials. Local stories are used in language learning area. Translating a story written in another language to the language of one's learners for use in MTBMLE. Example of contextualized lesson plan. Examples of localized materials. How to make your instructional materials attractive. It should be relevant, timely, and attention grabber. Remember this: the more you plan, the more effective the lesson and delivery, the less problems. With discipline. Be inspired. Be challenged. Let's contextualize.